What I'm going to show you today is how we sort cards at the end of a game and then make them at the beginning of the game. We follow this procedure because by doing so you only see the hand that you will be played. You don't see anybody else's hand. Until we get a dealing machine, this method will work so that we get a hand record and just like we had a dealing machine. One of the advantages of duplicate bridge is that at the end of the game we get a sheet, double-sided sheet, that shows how every hand could have been played, what the maximum they could have made out of that hand. And I'll go through that in more detail with you later, but on the sheet every board is laid out and it shows the best way it could have been played and the maximum you could make. In order to do that, we need to sort the boards in a special way. After the sort, the boards will look like this, with spades in the north, hearts in the west, diamonds in the south, and clubs in the east, with the aces showing. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how we, at the end of the game, how we put the cards up so that we can deal them out effectively when we begin the next session a week from now. But instead of just punching the cards back in the deck the way they're shown here, what I want you to do is everyone take a deck and what we're going to do is we're going to do a very quick sort of the cards. And I want to wind up with all the spades in north, all the hearts in west, all the diamonds in south, and all the clubs in east. And the way we do that very quickly is north takes its hand and takes all the spades out. You see, that's all we have, 3 spades. And then passes it over to west. Meanwhile, west has taken its hand and it has sorted out, taken all the hearts out of its hand and passed it over here to south. Now south has taken all of the diamonds out of its hand and passed it over here to east. East has taken all the clubs out of its hand and passed it to north. And this continues around until all the spades are here, all the hearts are here, all the diamonds are here, and all the clubs are here. And when we wind up after that round robin, here is what we're going to have. After only 4 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll wind up with all the spades here, hearts here, diamonds here, clubs here. Now what you do is you take your hand and put it in sequence. And we want to run it from the ace all the way up to the king. So I'm going to put this in sequence very quickly. Here we go, there goes the 4 and there's the ace. So now I have all my spades in sequence. Now everyone else has done the same thing. So all of them all their hands will look like this. Now I'm going to collapse it and I'm going to put it in face up so the ace is shown. I'm going to do that for every hand so that the boards will look like this when they're finished. All the boards are going to look exactly like this when they're done. When you come in next week,
this is how the boards will be presented at your table. And you'll know that they need to be dealt because the cards are all face up. They're face down, they've already been dealt. And I will show you next week just how we deal these out. So at the end of the game, please sort your cards the way I just showed you and put them in the appropriate holders. Thanks so much for your attention, and until next time.
Making Duplicate Boards by Bob Lee. Okay, we're going to show you how to make hands now. This is fairly straightforward. If you take a look at what the sheet looks like here, is it shows all the hands for the board, with north being at the top, south at the bottom, and east being on the right and west on the left. The reason we're doing this is really twofold. One, if somebody comes to me in the middle of the game and says, "Hey, Bob, I've got 3 cards in one hand and no cards in the other, or less cards in the other, what do I do?" All I can do is randomly redistribute, and that's not good. But this way, I'll have a map of how the deck should have been, and I'll be able to rearrange the cards just as everyone else has played them. Secondly, I'll be able to produce, at the end of the game, a sheet that shows every board and the best way it could be played. Now, when the boards come to us, they've been set up just like this, with the suits in each of north, south, east, and west. You'll be given a sheet that has the same number as the board number we're going to be working on. North will position the sheet such that the north is at the top of the sheet. Now I want to concentrate on North's hand. To speed this up a little bit, I'm going to do what North would do when it gets its cards. Here you see when North pulls its hand and spreads it, it looks pretty much like this. Now looking at the sheet, we see that North needs the ace, 10, 9, 8, and 3 of spades. So we'll pull those out of the cards that he has and lay them on the table. North now passes the rest of the cards to his right. Now let's look at what East needs. East has hearts and it needs the Jack 10. So East pulls the Jack 10 for itself and it passes the rest of the hearts on to South. Now South has clubs, and if we look at what they need, he needs the ace, 10, 8, and 7 of clubs. So he pulls those clubs, the 10, 8, 7, and ace, and passes the rest of the clubs on up to East. East has diamonds, and he needs the ace, queen, jack, 8, 7, 6, and 4 of diamonds. So he pulls those diamonds and passes the rest of the diamonds on to North. Now North doesn't need any diamonds, so he just passes them on and waits for the next set. North simply takes these diamonds and passes them off to West and waits for the next set. Next he'll receive clubs. He needs the king, jack, 9, 6, and 3 of clubs. So he pulls those from the deck and passes it on to the next guy. The last set that North sees will be hearts. And in fact, they'll be the hearts he needs. In this case, he needs the ace, king, 9. And those are the only hearts left. All the rest of the cards have been taken. Well, that's the way we make boards. You'll notice that after 4 rounds, all the cards are dealt correctly and the board is made. And once we make all the boards, we're ready to pass them on to the appropriate players and start the game. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you have a good game.